When it comes down to social justice, Nike tries to put on airs like they are the pillars of it. And we saw they are nothing of the such kind when it comes down to Kyrie Irving. So I did a story on how Nike and other companies are taking part in slaughtering kangaroos over in Australia by the millions to make soccer uniforms and soccer shirts, right? Well, it gets even worse. So, Nike, please stop trying to act like you are just down for social justice and you are about doing the right thing when we know that is the furthest thing from the truth. So let's come on out with it. China is using slave labor in China. Now, many of you might have heard of the Uyghur. They are using those folks over in China to literally do slave work. And we know what slave work is. They work you countless hours and don't pay you anything. So, social justice warriors are trying to act like one. Nike, for example, pompously inform us that they are fighting against discrimination in communities worldwide. Not only that, but they are working every day to erase the stain of racism and the damage of injustice. Are they really doing that? How many of you have seen Nike do this? Not me. Then why do you have your shoes made by an oppressive, morally bankrupt regime? China is the ugly poster child of this for all the evils that you are so quickly to condemn America for. Right now, at this very moment, China is eliminating the Uyghurs, or some people say Uyghurs. They are a Turkish speaking people living in China's far west. All right. They've locked these people up, these Uyghurs. They have locked them up by the millions, especially the men. And the women, they have abused these women beyond belief. Okay. So they have them working in factories during labor. They're doing labor in these camps that China have set up. And guess what they're making? Nikes. Nikes. Okay? That's what they're making. So it's showing hundreds of Uyghurs, especially men, handcuffed. And they are in these camps and they are making Nikes. Hmm. So don't be shocked by the protests that you may see now that more and more of this particular story is coming out. So it's sure it's going to ramp up the protest against Nike. So it turns out that some of these Uyghurs have been slaving away making basketball shoes by Nike. Mhm. An Australia Strategic Policy Institute report published in March, it found that weaker slave labor working in factories supplying 83 well known global brands in technology, clothing, shoes, automotive sector, including Apple, GM, Gap, and Nike. Yes, Nike, Loretta. Nike contracts to, companies in China, for example, that of January of this year, 600 weakers were literally putting together shoes for Nike. Nike claimed back in July 21st, 2020, on the basis of assurances that it had received from China managers that, they had sent these workers away. But this is not true. Those workers are still heavily being used in China. So, like Nike and other pro sport officials, owners, and athletes of the NFL and the NBA who are making big money off of, Nike, and many of them may not even realize the brutal oppression that's going on in order to get these Nike products made. So, ladies and gentlemen, some of this actually came out during the time of Colin Kaepernick kneeling and him losing his job as a football player. There were remnants of these stories coming out about Nike, but it really was not that strong back then like it is today. I wonder if the same man who kneels in protest America's slave owning past might be one today standing for the freedom of slaves in China. It was the Euchre slaves, after all, who might have stitched the Nike brand Air Force One shoes together. While we wait for the moment of self awareness to strike, but a lot of people now are raising their voices and saying, boycott Nike. A lot of people are. A lot of people are, y'all. So, as for Nike, it has pledged to donate $100 million dollars over the next 10 years to organizations dedicated to ensuring racial equality, social justice, and greater access to education. But I have a better idea, Nike. Why don't you take your blood money you have earned from employing slave labor in China and open a factory in US? Why? For them to underpay people here because that's what they would do, you know? But, these companies like Nike, they're not going to open up no factory here in the US cuz they don't want to pay the money. See, they want to pay pennies on the dollar for people that live lands away from here and pay that money. That's what they would prefer to do, while claiming they're fighting social justice. All right. So they're just suggesting, why don't they come here in the US, pick a spot in the inner city and employ the people that live there and provide good jobs and give them a way out of poverty? Well, you may make the suggestion, but we know that's never going to happen. All right. So, y'all tell me what you think. First the kangaroos and now slave labor in China is what Nike is using to make their shoes. But we know they have been doing this all along. But they got some nerve coming out about Kyrie acting like they have such a strong standing when it comes down to social justice, and they don't have nothing of the such kind. They really don't, nor have they ever had that. But y'all, some people may look at this as all the more reason to boycott Nike. But America really can't talk. America used slave labor by putting people behind bars and making them work for free or making them work for a few pennies per hour. So the same thing is going on here, you know, and really, when it comes down to human rights, neither country, America or China, really should have their mouth open, period. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace, family.